Okay, I think we're live. Let me know, guys. Are we live? I can't. It's been a little while now to think about it. God, what? It's been at least 6 months. I think longer than that since I've done one of these. So let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me. Otherwise, I've got a headset or something that I can plug in if that's not working. It looks like we've got a few people online already, which is exciting. All right. I don't know if you guys can hear my cat already in the background. I have a feeling he's going to make an appearance any minute. Yep, there we go. He's needy. Awesome. Thanks, Alan. Yeah. So I had a feeling he was going to end up showing up. This has been an ongoing thing with this cat, I swear. Every time I mostly work from home. And every time I have a video call at work, he insists on jumping on my lap and doing this, which probably doesn't help that I actually give him attention because then it just encourages him. But he's cute. How could you say no to this? Okay. For some reason, I'm getting a message saying that slow mode is on. So I don't know if that just means that it's slow for the comments to come through, or if I send a comment, it goes through slow. I've never seen that pop up before. The technology is fun, you guys. Really, it is. Okay, we've got 16 people online already. Wow, that's awesome, you guys. I don't know if anybody else has got a drink with them, but it's been a while since I've had that. So this is the coffee and chocolate bundy of rice. I was between this one or the banana toffee one. I wasn't a huge fan of the Christmas pudding one that just came out. Well, not just came out. I've seen it for a couple Christmases since I've been here. Hey, Peter. Thanks for joining. Allison's got red wine. Do you know what kind of red wine, Allison? So funny enough, we're making lamb shanks over the weekend. We were going to do it tonight, but then I realized I got caught up in a little side project and we wouldn't have enough time before the live stream. So Mark was like, do we have any red wine in the house? I'm like, of course we have red wine in the house. And I think we have a Roja, a Malbec, and a Cabernet Merlot blend. Thanks, Brad. Congrats from Melbourne. So a bit of exciting news is that we're actually going to go to Melbourne for a few days very soon. I'm excited. So I've never been to a Formula One race, and Mark's gone to a few of them, but he's gotten me into Formula One. So we're going to go this year. Nice long weekend in Melbourne. I'm excited for it. So I get to film some of it for you guys, and for anybody who hasn't been, you get to see a little bit of footage with the Formula One race. Yeah. I can't believe it's like only a few weeks away too. It still feels like it's like in 3 or 4 months or something. I keep forgetting it's already March. Do they make the royal liqueur anymore? I'm pretty sure they do. I think you could still, I assume by the royal liqueur, it's the flavored ones that they do. Because they have like a salted caramel, the coffee chocolate, the banana toffee, and then they do the Christmas pudding one for around the holidays. So yeah, they still do them. I'm pretty sure you can at least get them on Mundy's website. I don't know if every bottle is going to sell them. The camera must be the cat's favorite toy. I swear it's my voice. I don't know what it is. Whenever I start talking, he's got a little bit of anxiety. And whenever he hears me talking, even if it's just talking to Mark, he immediately has to like rush over and sit between us and start crawling on my lap. Like as soon as he hears me giving anybody else attention, yeah, he's a needy cat. Oh, Cab Merlot, those ones are good. So you're coming down to Melbourne for the race. Yes, very excited. So I'd actually bought us tickets for our anniversary, which is in October. And I initially just bought it for race day because I know Mark's job was like, they're pretty particular about people not taking off of work. And I was like, okay, we're probably not going to be able to do the whole race. So let me at least get tickets for race day. We can get a flight out the night before and then leave later the night of, and it won't really be too much of an issue. And Mark's like, no, if we're going down, we'll figure something out. We're going for the whole weekend. So get tickets for the whole weekend. So I did. And we're going Thursday through Sunday. And I'm excited. Oh, thank you, Robbo. That's so sweet. Congrats on 10K. Oh, thank you. When will this blasted summer end? I know, okay? So it actually wasn't too bad today. It's like I'm still getting used to Australian summers, guys, because remember, I moved over here and we were dealing with the whole La Nina thing for like 2 years. And I've heard it's like this isn't a normal Australian summer from what some of my coworkers told me. Like this is still a little bit cool, a little bit wet compared to most Aussie summers. But if like I woke up this morning and went to go like pet the dog, give her a little bit of attention first thing in the morning after we wake up, because it's normal morning routine. And it felt like autumn was coming. Like I felt like I wanted to put my hoodie on. It was a little bit chilly, and I'm like, I know this isn't going to last. I feel like this is that fake autumn weather. It's going to be like warm in a few days, and yeah, it's weather's not really holding up. I wonder if Ashley will be in Melbourne when you're there. Will be good to see you catch up with her again. So we didn't film, like she put a little 10-second clip in one of her videos a couple months back. But when her and her boyfriend were in Sydney, unfortunately, Mark couldn't come with us because he was working night shift. But we went and grabbed coffee, and they'd actually already had tickets to go to Formula One. And they're also like general admission kind of tickets. So it's not specific seating. So we said, like, even if we're not going to spend the time together, we'll like go and hang out for a little while, grab a coffee, watch some of the race or something like that. So I'll definitely be seeing Ash there, you guys. We'll see her in a vlog soon and doing what we always do. That means I'll probably end up in one of her vlogs too. It's just kind of how it works when you're friends with YouTubers. How do you feel about Jason Kelsey retiring since you're from Philly? You know what? He's deserved it. I gotta say, as sad as it is to see him go, he is a gem. Like he's done so much for the city. He does so much charity work. Like, you know what? He deserves it. Really. Absolutely love Jason Kelsey. And it's going to be sad that he's not on the team anymore. But you know what? At least he's leaving on a relatively high note. And he's done so much for the city. And I know he's still going to be super, super involved with the team afterwards, even if he's not on the team. Congrats from Canberra. Thank you. Used to work at the track, not for the track, just for the fun. It's amazing, intense, and exciting. Yes, I cannot wait to experience it. I've gone to a couple, what are they, Top Fuel races here, like where they have that little drag strip. I have a feeling Formula One's going to be completely different. I'm excited. The heat was intense here today. Bring on winter, I'd say, as strange as it sounds. You know what? I miss winter when it's like a really, really humid day. I don't mind the heat. That's the thing. I don't mind a dry heat. But when it gets like 35 here in Sydney and the humidity is high, oh, it's brutal. I have no idea how people in Queensland do it. I really don't. Have you ever thought about coming up here to Darwin? I hope to at some point. Travel is not really on our plans for the next like couple years, probably. Partly because Mark's work doesn't really want him to travel, and we're trying to save up for a house deposit, but we all know how much houses cost here right now, so it's going to be quite some time. And I do want to go back to the States to see my family probably next year, and between flights and hotels and just general costs when you're traveling back and forth, that's going to be a pricey trip too. So we're not doing too much travel apart from Melbourne. That's the only thing we really have planned. I do want to get up to Darwin. I would love to like do a little kind of hop around Australia, do like little meetups with you guys and stuff like that. I think that would be so much fun. But nothing like that's planned for this year. We'll see. 38 in Melbourne on Saturday. Oof, that is brutal. Is it humid in Melbourne? I don't know. Because I always think of like the humidity increases the farther up north you go, but I remember when I was in Melbourne before, it was just hot. I don't remember it being humid, but I also don't remember it being humid in Sydney when I was here before. And that was also 2019, so you had the bushfires and stuff like that going on. Summer's been a mess, but I can feel autumn. Yes, it feels like it is so close. FYI, the public transport is amazing. You'll have dozens of ways to get there. That's good to know. I have to double check where we booked our hotel. I don't know if it's walking distance or not. I think it is, but I also don't know how busy it's going to be, because obviously I'm sure it's going to be absolutely packed around, what is it, Alfred Park? Let me know, I forget. Yeah, the humidity's been gross this year. Ugh. Cheers from South Australia. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Oh, it's so cool seeing like names and stuff like this pop up from people who are like always commenting and stuff on the videos. It's so cool to see. It was hardly that bad here with all the humidity. It was chilly this morning. which may be why I particularly felt it knocked me over. I love waking up to cold mornings, and it like warms up a little bit during the day. It it stinks when you have to commute into work because you never quite know how to dress. Like you always bring a jacket, and then halfway through the day you don't need it. Next thing you know, you're carrying it home and you're sweating. But waking up and it's a little bit chilly, I love that. I love waking up in autumn mornings. Talking weather in Celsius these days. Yes, I've gotten a lot better at converting things. I think it helps that my phone has been like pretty much on Celsius after like maybe a couple months of living here. That's really helped me get used to it. There's still stuff that's still trips me up after 2 years, but the weather I've gotten way better at. And it was funny because when we went to the States for a couple weeks, I transferred it back into Fahrenheit. And yeah, it took me a couple weeks to get it transferred back into Celsius. So I was getting back into my Fahrenheit brain. I'm like, this isn't good. I can't do that. If I'm going to do Fahrenheit, I have to be in the States. If I'm going to be here, I need to do Celsius, get used to it. Cheers from Darwin Albert Park. Thank you. I thought it was Albert Park. For some reason, I kept thinking Alfred. Maybe because I'm thinking of Prince Alfred Hospital. Anyway. Congrats from Bickley Valley, Perth. Oh, that's cool. My God, we've got people from like all over the country here. This is awesome, you guys. So glad to see it. 35 in Barossa. Hopefully I said that right. Barossa. Hi, Neil. Thanks, Pen. Oh, gosh. We had our entire month's rain, 100 millimeters, 4 inches this morning in central Queensland. Oof. Is that one of the places that was like really affected by the floods last summer? Because I don't pay too much attention to the news, to be honest. I have so much going on, just day-to-day stuff. I don't really hop on the news all that much anymore. But I remember Cairns had a really, really bad flood a few weeks back, like right around the holiday time. Because I actually had a coworker who was taking her first vacation, first holiday in years. And her husband were going to go up to Cairns, and then they had the floods. So they changed their mind and then ended up going to like Queenstown, I think, somewhere in New Zealand. I feel like you guys must get storms pretty often. I have the worst phobia for them ever. I feel like I'm in one of the places storms are least common, thankfully. That's good, yeah. Here's the thing. For the most part, I don't mind storms, but our property has a lot of trees around it. And one of the trees in our backyard, like right around Christmas when we had that really, really bad sudden freak, like high wind storm, knocked a perfectly healthy tree over. And I think you guys saw the picture that I posted from what happened in our backyard. Yeah, now after seeing that, now I'm a little worried. Especially with, okay, Kat, your claws are coming out. That means you're going on the floor. Thank you. Yeah, the trees around this property make me a little bit nervous when it rains, but overall, I love seeing storms. Like, I feel like if there were no trees around the property, I'd be a happy camper. I'm fine with them. Never was humid in Melbourne, but Melbourne hasn't been historically humid, but I think Sydney's humidity seems to be moving down here. Oof, yeah, and I feel like Queensland's humidity is probably moving down here. It's been so brutally humid, like the last couple months. Like ever since summer started, it's like the humidity won't go away. Barossa. Okay, thank you. What's rain? Where did you post it? Discord? No, it was on the YouTube community page. So I'll post a lot of like pictures and stuff up on there and just random surveys or thought bubbles or just random things that pop in my head. I'm like, you know what? Let me ask YouTube and see what you guys think. I don't post that much on Discord. See, I probably should, but I have a few different tabs on Discord for like video suggestions, reaction video suggestions. There's a general page. So I don't do too much on Discord. I probably don't go on there and talk as much as I should, to be honest. I think it's just one of the tough things of when you're trying to do social media stuff, but then you also have a full-time job, and I've got the writing stuff that's also kind of part-time. It's really been time-consuming the last few months, which I've been enjoying. G'day from Melbourne. Well done on the 10K. Thank you. Australia, where even the trees are out to get you. Oh, yeah, it does feel like that some days. Are cold state people ready to buy their fluffy Easter pajamas? It's tradition to buy new winter pajamas at Easter because it's the first of the cool weather. Is that a thing? Like, is that a common thing for you guys? Let me know, because I never heard that before. When I was a kid, obviously, seasons are flipped. So every year we used to get Christmas pajamas. So me, my brother, cousins, and stuff like that, my parents used to buy everybody Christmas pajamas. I never thought of it the other way around here, though, because I know people do like summery pajamas and stuff like that. I've seen friends and family post stuff like that on like Facebook and Instagram and all. But I never thought of Easter pajamas. But that does kind of make sense. The whole East Coast, the sea is warmer than normal. Did not know that. It's the sun and bangs with storms. That just doesn't sound like, yeah, the thunder here for some reason. I swear it feels like it's almost closer to the ground for some reason. It's a little bit scary sometimes. Why do you change the channel name back from Caitlin Amanda? Because I realized I initially wanted to change it to Caitlin Amanda so I could do a little bit more than just Australian content. But then everything I was posting was Australia content. So I was like, what's the point of having my name out there when, like, obviously you want to get views and subscribers and grow the channel and you want things to be consistent for you guys. So I'm like, why not just change it back? Because most of what I'm talking about is Australian stuff anyway. And I feel like for anybody who doesn't know my channel or who's like one of my videos just randomly pops up on their homepage and they see like, okay, American reacts to something Australian related and the channel name is kind of Australian, you know what you're getting. I know that there's been this huge trend of people moving to just like their first and last name or first and middle name. And it makes sense if you're doing lifestyle content, but I'm mostly talking about Australia on this channel. So kind of Australian still makes sense. Is that Bundy and Coke? You need to go to Queensland. Forget Melbourne. P.S. I live in Melbourne. Yeah, so not Bundy and Coke. This is the Bundy Royal Liqueur. This is the coffee and chocolate one, which felt fitting because I think the coffee and chocolate one is the one that I cracked open the first live stream that I did when we reached 5,000 subscribers. So yeah, it felt fitting. Kind of felt like everything was coming back full circle. I'll have a look for the community post. I'm hearing you on my TV while I type on my computer. Oh my gosh, I do that all the time. I've got my laptop, I've got my work laptop, I've got my phone next to me. Yeah, I'm constantly surrounded by screens all day. Yes, that's a thing. Okay, good to know. I did not know that the pajama thing was a thing. Those trees are called widowmakers. You don't hear them till they hit the ground. Ugh. Yeah, this was like a weird tree too. It wasn't a gum tree. I have no idea what kind of tree it was. But yeah, perfectly healthy tree, just toppled over in the middle of a windstorm. It was a little scary. Yep, here in Victoria, we get new PJs. Check out Big W, Kmart, and Target. They all have PJs for sale. Yeah, I'll have to pop in there and see. I never really thought to look around because, like, Mark and I don't celebrate Easter. First of all, we're not religious, and I feel like Easter's also if you're not religious, it's a little bit more of a kids' holiday, like Easter baskets and stuff like that. So we don't do anything for Easter. We get Easter Monday off, and that's about it. So yeah, I never really thought to go looking around Big W or Target to see what they have for Easter, but that's probably a good idea. I should probably check that out sometime just to see what some of the differences are too. Have you come out to Oberon this winter? It's cold, aka nicer than Sydney. We sometimes get snow, nothing like Philly, but still. I assume Oberon is somewhere in New South Wales. Victoria, we get new PJs. Yep. Try a hot Aussie day when you're menopausal. Not fun. Oof. Fiona, don't jinx me. I've got a few years. I don't want to think about that yet. Have you thought of doing a reaction video to camping in Australia compared to the US? I had, but at the same time, I feel like I've only gone camping for one long weekend the entire time I've been here. So I would have to do a lot of research on camping in Australia. And I've also gone, I guess it would be like, the term wasn't invented yet, but glamping. I've done that once over in the States when I was 13. Like, I think our little campsite was 10 feet away from a washer and dryer and a bunch of outlets. I remember we were going to, Oh, it was some sort of little mini amusement park out in the Pocono Mountains, and I was there with my friend and her family because they were really big campers, and she brought her hair straightener with her, and it's the first time I'd ever had my hair straightened was on a campsite because they had electrical outlets, so definitely not a legit camping experience, I think. I'd actually love to go camping again, but yeah, it's not really going to work on a motorbike. The storms have been incredible. The thunder and lightning have been booming. That's put the kettle on Thor's here. Thank you. Congrats on the 10K. You guys are awesome. Good to see it's been hot and dry here in Corowa? Cowra? I'm surprised Mark isn't like laughing at me at these horrible pronunciations of places that I've only read and never actually heard anybody pronounce. Favorite Aussie food? Oh, that's a tough one. Like, my knee-jerk reaction is to say meat pies because I remember when Mark and I were stuck doing 2 years long distance, thanks COVID. Like meat pies were something where I was constantly thinking like I can't get that, and it's not like you could ship that over here, and I miss those. So I'm going to say it for that reason because when I didn't have access to it, that was like the one thing I'm like, I really miss those. I really want those. I want one of those again. Oberon's just south of Bathurst. Okay, so we've driven through Bathurst in a truck before with Mark, so I probably couldn't put it out on a map, but I think I have a rough-ish idea of where it's at. Easter's nothing than a 4-day weekend for me. Same. Wait, 4-day? We get off Easter Monday. You guys get off on Good Friday too? Like, is that only certain states get off on Good Friday? Because I know we get off on Easter Monday here in New South Wales. I don't know if that's a countrywide thing or just a New South Wales thing. Bundy in front of a campfire, eating a baked dinner, nothing better. That sounds pretty nice, actually. I remember we went camping and Mark made coffee for the first time over a campfire. Guys, I swear I still dream about that coffee. It was the best cup of coffee I have ever had. Corowa is along the Victorian border and Cowra. Okay, Cowra. Thank you. I feel like I should know how to pronounce some of these, but then when I realize I've never actually heard anybody say them, I've just seen the name before. I'm like, I know I'm butchering this so bad. How do you feel about the difference between different styles of pizza? I hate it. Oh my God, I miss American pizza. There's not a single good pizza place near us here. I know there's got to be like some decent pizza places, like probably the closer you get to the CBD and stuff like that, places that are a little bit more authentic. But all the way out here in Western Sydney, there is nothing. I miss good pizza so much. And I miss American takeaway pizza. That is not something you're really going to find here. Now, I know it's so unhealthy and you guys are going to give me a hard time for this, but it's like greasy, it's floppy, it's saucy, it's cheesy. Like I miss American takeout pizza. And I feel like at some point when we go back over to the States, I'm going to have to get Mark to try like an authentic takeout buffalo chicken pizza because those are so incredibly good. Hi from Perth. Good Friday is also a day off. Didn't know that. I actually managed to catch kookaburras laughing on video I posted on my Instagram, and my USA friends have been going nuts over it. They would. It's so novel. It's obviously not something that you're going to experience over in the States, and to actually see stuff like that happen to people in real life, it's kind of mind-blowing when you see it. Like there's still stuff about Australia that I'll see on Instagram. I'm like, how is this real? Kangaroos are real. I just hear Mark echoing from the other room. Kangaroos are real. You just said that we ride them to school. Oh my God. Oh, he's terrible. So what exactly is a Philly cheesesteak? So a Philly cheesesteak is an Amoroso roll. Amoroso is the bakery, the brand company that makes them. It's like a flank steak that's sliced really thin. And once they put it on a really hot griddle, they sort of chop it up with a spatula while it's cooking. So it's not going to be as fine as mince, but it's not just going to be a strip of steak. It's going to be like pretty well diced up. Some people have it with onions. Most people do fried onions on it, and they cook it on the same griddle top as the meat. Throw a couple slabs of cheese on there. Provolone's like the classic one. Some people do American. Some people do that like orange fake cheese whiz. It's not like the orange Kraft singles that a lot of people see. It's like literally a jar of cheese whiz sauce. It's something that kind of grosses out some people, but I always liked it with whiz. I learned to make a deep dish pizza and tried to make Philly cheesesteaks. The problem with Philly cheesesteaks, sorry guys, in case you can't tell, my office is literally right next to the bathroom. So yeah, the thing with Philly cheesesteaks is that it all comes down to the roll, and you can't find any rolls that are similar to Amoroso rolls here in Australia. So there's a place called Fat Frank's in Wetherell Park that actually imports Amoroso rolls, and they said next time we go up there that we could probably just buy the rolls separately, but yeah, we actually haven't been up there in a while, so we have to give that a try and actually try making cheesesteaks at home. Oh my God, you cannot get a decent pepperoni pizza in Australia. Pizza Hut are closed. Oh, Pizza Hut isn't even close. Are you kidding? I do miss American pizza. Can you get fish and chips in Philly takeaway shops, frozen meat pies at all in supermarkets? No, not at all. Meat pies do not exist in Philly pretty much anywhere. I've never seen one in Philly. There's an Aussie bakery that opened about an hour outside of Philly in Royersford. And funny enough, I've been waiting for them to open, and they opened the day I moved to Australia. 4th of December 2021 when I had my flight. I still remember that. Luckily, Mark and I were able to go up there and actually try the pies out. He's here. So we actually went to try the pies out in Royersford because my friend and my goddaughter lived like a 5-minute walk away from the shop. So, yes, those were funny enough, even though they were in the States, those were the best meat pies I've had.
Yeah, they were pretty good. Rated.
Yeah.
Rateable.
Yeah. Made by Aussies too, so it was authentic.
I'm not driving trucks anymore. Yeah, gave that away. A mate of mine got me into the tunnels and the metro tunnels, doing the trains and TBMs.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good.
Yep. He was off work for a couple weeks though, because he managed to tear his rotator cuff in an accident, and then 3 days ago burned his arm on a boiling hot pot of chicken noodle soup.
2nd degree burns. Why not?
I need to bubble wrap it. He is the most accident-prone person I've ever met.
As your mum put it, clots.
I mean, she's not wrong. Where were you born? Born and raised in Philly. I've actually never lived outside of Philly until I moved to Australia, funny enough. Even when I was in uni, the zip code for my college was in Philly, and if you crossed the street, you were in a different county. So I've always technically lived in Philly, even when I was in school. I use Vietnamese rolls as a substitute. I know they're not the same. It's not the same. Not even close. I feel like American pizza is supposedly better tasting than the best pizza here I've ever had. I feel like if we actually went to like an actual pizza shop in the CBD, like an Italian authentic place, we'd probably find a good pizza.
Yeah.
Though when it comes to takeaway pizza, just random what you'd order on a Friday night when you have a bunch of people over and you just want pizza and beer, not even close.
Yeah.
Why don't Americans like fruitcake? Depends on the American.
Broken.
Fruitcake's disgusting. My mom likes fruitcake, funny enough. No, I can't stand fruitcake. I don't know. It's just like, for me, it's because it's not sweet enough. Like, I love really sweet, really sugary.
Yeah, kill all the sugar.
Oh. Yeah, exactly. I mean, this right here, you don't need a mixer with it. It's just so sweet by itself.
Liqueur, what do you expect?
Coffee and chocolate.
Good night, Alison. Fruitcake either, to be honest. Dang it. You're broken too, Dave. No, I'm joking.
Nice, mate. Trucking has become a joke with all the cowboys now.
Yeah. There are a few out there.
We know a few out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I got one mate. He's truck. I drive truck.
That is all he knows, I swear. You can't have a conversation with anything besides trucks.
Oberon Pub has good pizza. the hub Oberon. Is that in Oberon? Arrock?
Yeah, he's in
Is that it?
Oberon.
Yeah. We went out last year, and those hot cross buns are popular. Yeah. They are, yeah.
Yeah. Funny enough, I actually saw a place on YouTube in South Australia that has like authentic Chicago deep dish pizza, and it looks amazing. Adelaide.
Yeah. Last time I was out there, I can't remember the last time I was out there. I went out riding there, stayed at the Big Salmon?
In
the big pineapple in Coffs and a big banana in Coffs, big pineapple.
Yeah, all those tourist traps. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is very, very different. It's like the deep dish. The deep dish is vastly different. It's a completely different thing. Same thing. It's just thick and deep. Yeah, lots of it. Lots of cheese.
Yeah.
Seen a few videos. Been sort of doing a bit of study here and there with wanting to go over there again and getting back over there, see family, and but thinking that when we go over, every time we go over, we'll go to a different state and a different city and go and spend a bit of time and head back out and go back to Texas.
Oh my God, Texas.
We went back over there. It was like 3 or 4 days before we were supposed to fly out. Like, Kate, how much is it going to cost to stop at Texas? And she's like, what? It's like, we go to Philly, we go to New York, come back to Philly, coming home, Texas somewhere. We want Texas, then we want barbecue. And she's like, yeah. Like, no, not yet. Make it happen. So we did. We stopped in Houston for like 18, 19 hours on the way into Philly. Got barbecue and got out of there. It was good.
Yeah. Because initially our flight was supposed to go from Sydney to Houston, but then for some reason United had changed their route, so it was stopping in LA. I'm like, well, we could just do LA and then go straight from LA to Philly. It'll be a little bit shorter. He's like, no, we're stopping in Houston. Barbecue. Texas barbecue. Somebody asked, have we been to Western Australia yet? So not together?
No, I've been there a few times driving. Used to go there a fair bit for work.
Yeah, I was there for 4 days on holiday the summer that we met and we started dating.
Yeah,
but I definitely want to go over there at some point. Spend like maybe a week over there, do a little holiday and stuff like that over there. When it's warm, we can actually get to the beach.
Joe's was a Mack Superliner, a single trailer, quad axle set up on a trailer, spread quad, 57.5 ton GVM, which was right up there for a single. Right up there with B double weights with one extra axle with 2 extra boosters, which isn't much when you're like 29.5 ton empty, 57.5 full. It's like 28.5 ton in the bin, so it's a lot of weight to try and pull up when you're fully loaded. Don't miss it.
Especially when people pull right in front of you and then like slow down, so it makes you slam on your brakes. And when you're loaded with tons and tons of stuff, it's a little bit scary.
Yeah. So you get asked, is it hard driving trucks? No, it's not hard. The hard part's dealing with the big heads on the road.
And it is. I've been in the truck enough time to see that. I'd say that Coca-Cola here uses cane sugar, but America uses corn syrup, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's right, but the taste isn't really any different. Did you notice anything different?
Yeah.
You notice the taste different?
Yeah, they do. They use cane sugar here. They use corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup.
I didn't notice any difference in taste from the Coke here compared to the Coke in the States. But that again, that could just be me.
The cat's bugging out because I'm in here. So what's this?
He was on my lap earlier.
Yeah. He's just bugging out because I'm in here and I'm still in here. Hello. Go away.
Sweet. I know the B-dubs. It's one heck of a haul. Yeah, it is.
You know the B-dubs? No way. It's raining,
I want to try Texas barbecue. If you ever get the chance, Texas barbecue is just on another level.
Yeah. It was pretty good.
That was like the last meal, final meal on death row worthy.
Barbecue.
Texas barbecue.
I don't know. A really good cooked steak.
Either of you follow the AFL?
Not a fan. Don't mind it, as try and stay neutral as far as appreciation and gratitude for all things human. But Not a big fan. Don't follow it. If I did, it'd be the Swans living in Sydney, but yeah, not really.
Yeah, so I actually have a reaction video coming out where I try to learn a little bit about AFL, and it just, you guys will see in the reaction. So no, I still don't follow AFL. There's a chair behind us too. If that's going to be more
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
You just won't stop scratching me.
Chicken parma is death row meal. Chicken parma is like an every day of the week meal.
No.
Yeah. I don't want to choose any meal on death row now because I don't want to be on death row. Good to know. I've wrapped right now beef ribs for dinner tonight. I haven't done beef ribs in a while. We've got pork ribs in the freezer.
Yeah.
Should do pork ribs soon. Go Roos. Who are the Roos? I assume that's AFL.
So the team that didn't have a home. The team that didn't have enough home.
The team that didn't have a home.
Essendon Bombers and Sydney Swans. They were the Kangaroos. They didn't have a home.
Mark is a Sydney boy.
A little bit.
It's giving me sky blue.
Yeah, sky blue and orange. Wrong code. Yeah, I live in where we live. It's supposed to be Wanderers territory, but I was around in the old NSL days with soccer, and I went to the A-League, and Sydney was the only Sydney club there, so naturally I just went and supported Sydney FC, and the Wanderers came along. But no, stay true, stay loyal. I don't care if it's around the corner. But yeah, GWS share their stadium.
With this one?
I think no, with the Wanderers. I think they got their own home pitch now. I think they use Parramatta. But yeah, again, wrong code. Gumtree is still out there. They came out a couple of weeks ago and said, "Oh yeah, we'll do some work to it. We'll sort it out." And they took one limb. It was like 6 inches around diameter, maybe 150, 200 kilos. The bow that did come down, the bow that did come down, was better part of a ton and a half. So they did absolutely stuff all. Yep. It was just sort of what they had to do, the bare minimum to save face for the council, so they could say they did something. So.
Yeah, cut it down over a power line, nowhere near the house. That was helpful.
Yeah. Penrith. I like it. I like how you spelled Penrith. Pamps. You spelled Pampers wrong.
No Panthers in this house. No.
Parramatta Eels. Yeah, born in Westmead Hospital. No, didn't play rugby. No, a little bit as a kid. 8, 9, and 10 under 8s, under 9s, under 10s. And started playing soccer. A little bit more sort of non-stop action rather than stop start. I didn't mind running up and down the side of the pitch as a winger. Sharkies, go the Sharkies. About time they finally got one. You deserved it. North Melbourne Kangaroos, yeah. Yeah, now finally they have a home. Yeah, it's a good game.
Yeah, eventually I'll actually get to go to one of the AFL games and see what it's about and see what it's like. Because after seeing that little reaction video, it does look really intense and really fun and really interesting. But I also have no idea what's going on. Like, I feel like I wouldn't know what NRL was or what was happening if he wasn't so patient.
Yeah.
When we were watching a few games and explaining things to me.
When does motorsports season start? All right, guys. I'm out.
No, baby.
Have a good night.
It'll take forever to learn AFL. You know, maybe. Because after seeing that reaction video, I'm like, it doesn't seem too complicated. And obviously it didn't go into like a lot of stuff about plays and fouls and anything like that. But I don't know. I was able to pick up NFL. I was able to pick up NRL here pretty quickly. AFL, I think I can figure it out after a little while. And if somebody has the patience to actually explain things. Did you see the NRL was Vegas thingy? I wonder what the crowd reaction was like. I have no idea. like that seemed like such a cash grab, and I don't know how many Americans would have been interested in it, but I don't know. Maybe it's sold out. I have no idea. I just know that there was an NRL game played in Vegas for some reason. Playing NRL on an NFL field. Isn't there a size difference though between the fields? So obviously NFL it's 100 yards. I don't know how long an NRL field is supposed to be, but isn't there a size difference to those? Easter's not far from now. How was it in the States? Honestly, if you weren't religious, Easter was next to nothing. Like, it was, you bought your kids an Easter basket or you made your kids an Easter basket. We didn't have Easter Monday off. It wasn't a public holiday. If you went to Catholic schools, you had Good Friday off. Easter Monday wasn't a thing, though. How about cricket? No. Like, I've seen some of it on random TVs, like in the pubs and stuff like that, and just it's slow. It's a little bit boring. Like, I'm not even a big baseball fan, and cricket seems even slower than baseball. So yeah, cricket not my thing. I like Mark's t-shirt. It made me laugh. Yeah, it's one of his favorites. AFL, you have to watch it, follow it, and then it will click for you. Yeah, I think it's like that with most sports. If you see a couple games, enough of it will click that you can follow without it being too much of an issue. And then later on, you'll learn the technical rules about fouls and plays and stuff like that. It was like 35,000-ish people that went. That's a lot of people. Okay, that's a little bit more than I thought it would have been. AFL is too complicated as the rules are interrupted by umpires and individuals. It's maddening. NFL is shorter and narrower. Okay, didn't know that. Baseball is better than cricket. Cat names. We have 2 cats. One of them pops up all the time on my lap. We have 2 ginger cats, Ginger and Snap. So they're actually brother and sister from the same litter. They're the cats that I brought over from the States. Very, very expensive cats. Yeah, I wasn't planning on adopting cats. And then my friend sent me pictures of 2 cute little ginger kittens and said that they were coming from an abusive home, but they didn't want to separate them. And I caved and ended up with a very, very costly, he's down here chilling, costly pair of pets. I've heard a few American friends describe cricket as baseball on Valium. Yeah, they're not wrong. AFL isn't too hard. Kick the ball between the big sticks. Punching the ball is also allowed, and if you're tackled, get rid of the ball. Seems simple enough. Watching grass grow and paint dry is better than cricket. Cute cat names. Thank you. Congrats on 10K. Thank you. $1 million cats. Oh, it feels like it. Or maybe not $1 million cats, but very, very spoiled, expensive cats. So I think I included it in a very, very earlier video before I even had 1,000 subscribers. It was like a cost breakdown of how much it cost me to move everything from the States to here, including the visas, including the cats, including airfare, shipping boxes over, the works. The only thing that wasn't included, because I didn't do this, but I know a lot of people who do when they're planning on permanently moving, I didn't hire any sort of like transportation unit. I didn't need a pallet of anything. I just sent everything over in boxes. And it was actually cheaper for me that way. The only similarity between cricket and baseball is they're the only sports where defense has the ball. Really? Never thought of it that way. My kids play baseball. I played as a kid for the simple reason it's the only sport I was ever good at. There are a few more rules, but that's about 80% of the AFL. Yeah, that's going to be a little bit easier to follow, I think. But you just go in with that super simple basic knowledge, then you'll learn the rest later on. I still haven't picked a team, though. Funny thing is, like, I picked an NRL team because I'm like, okay, I started my move and my journey here in Western Sydney, so it's either the Panthers or the Eels. And I don't know, just something about the Panthers rubbed me the wrong way, even though they won that year. against the Eels. So I ended up being an Eels fan. People are like, "Oh, you did it because of Mark." I'm like, "No, there's actually a reason why I did that." And AFL, I don't know. Like, I feel like it'd be fun to not necessarily support the team that I'm local to. Like, just, I don't know. Maybe one day I'll just pick a team out of a hat and that'll be my AFL team for life. Who knows? Does Australia feel like home yet? Yes and no. But the funny thing is, when we went back to the States, I could have said the exact same thing about Philly, where I was born and raised and lived for 30 years. It feels like home, but doesn't feel like home. And I think that's pretty common once you move countries. Like, I don't have childhood memories here. I don't have like my own blood relatives here and stuff like that. It doesn't necessarily feel like home in that sense, but it's familiar and at times it's really comfortable. Whereas I go back to the States, things have shifted so much that it doesn't quite feel familiar, but I still have that support system and I have a little bit more of a familiarity with where things are and what's around me and how to behave and whatnot. You don't have a lot of those like social differences that you have to learn when you move to a new country. How's the writing going? It's going really well, actually. So I just finished the first draft of a new novel a couple of days ago. I have an outline for the second book in that series ready once I've actually gone through and fully edited everything for that book. I have an outline completed for the third book in another series that I have. The first two books in that series are already published. I wrote the first half of that book in 2018. My personal life just went completely down the drain that year. It was wild, it was crazy, and basically I haven't picked up that book since. So I want to finish it, and if I can get it published by like October, because I could get it up by Halloween, that would be perfect for marketing. Because the background takes place in the setting that's kind of like The Walking Dead, so it'd be the perfect Halloween book. You are a cat servant. They remember when they were worshipped as gods. Of course, you must pay. What other sport do you know you can eat between innings? Yeah, baseball's. Yeah, baseball's also really slow. Ugh. Why does the American cuisine best in Sydney? Black Bear Barbecue is a favorite of mine. I love Black Bear Barbecue. Oh my god, they are so good. I don't know if they're like American style barbecue. I'm not too familiar with types of barbecue. I gotta be honest. I didn't grow up around a very barbecue heavy area. The barbecue we had in Philly is kind of crap. Um, so it's a little tough to say because I'm biased. I'm from Philly, so for me, I think Wetherell Park and Fat Frank's cheesesteaks are so good. Like when I'm feeling homesick, those just hit the spot perfectly. Um, but like day to day stuff, like it's pretty easy to get some American foods here. Like I'm seeing Reese's peanut butter cups in Woolies and Kohl's. Guys, I saw orange cheese in Kohl's. They have like this Mexican blend. And there's orange cheese in Kohl's now. Like, I know it's going to piss off a lot of people, but I was so excited when I saw this because you can make the best quesadillas with that stuff. I love it when you go Fresh Prince. I don't realize I do that. I hear people say like I say things like an Aussie, and then I have like a real thick American accent, and then they can hear the Philly accent come through. I'm like, I have no idea what is going on with my accent and my voice these days. Just whatever comes out of my mouth, and I'm not controlling it. It just happens. Uh, hey, from North Queensland. I saw the cover. It's amazing. Thank you. So what's wrong with the stove? My stove just hates me. I think the owner of the house bought like the cheapest stove possible and put it in, which you know what? Fine. It's an investment property. I totally get it. But for some reason, it's like a top heating element. And no matter what I do, I can put it on the lowest rack. I can put a rack above it and put like a baking tray or something to try to like hold back some of the heat. Everything I bake burns on the top. Like I made pineapple stuffing that my dad makes pretty much every year for Easter one year. And the top of it burned. He's like, "How the hell did you burn pineapple stuffing?" I'm like, "It's not me, it's the stove." It's not me, I swear. I actually just bought a little hanging oven thermometer to put in there to see if it fixes anything. But I feel like the temperature is fine. But for some reason, because it's top heating, just the top of everything burns. It's ridiculous. It's such a shame because I used to bake all the time in the States, and the stuff I made was actually like decent. Like, I'm not ever going to be like a home baker or anything like that. I'm never ever going to own a business. That is not me at all. But at least the stuff I made didn't come out burnt. Have you become more of a seafood eater since moving to Sydney? Yeah. It's not my go-to when we go to restaurants, I'll be honest. Like, I'm always more of a steak person, or I'll take chicken over fish any day of the week. But if there's fish on the menu and there's only fish on the menu, I'm fine with it for the most part. I've eaten barramundi. Calamari was the only thing where even back in the States I would eat it. Mark's made snapper a couple times, like something like Yellow Jacket, I think, or something it was called too. So he's done fish a few times, and he makes fish really, really well. It's the little bones that still get to me. It's the only thing where I'm like, it's not worth the effort it takes to eat the fish with the little bones in it, but like, it's not bad. I've gotten used to seafood. Your voice is awesome. Thank you. Love Frank, but Philly's cheesesteaks is another good option. I've heard of it. I haven't been there though. And I also want to check. I don't know if they import the rolls. I feel like that makes such a difference. Now, again, it's just me being nitpicky, but I feel like most people from Philly are like that level of nitpicky when it comes to cheesesteaks. So it's not just me. Peanut butter cups are like regular chocolate here now. They sit next to Cadbury's. Yep. And I'm perfectly happy with that. I actually have Reese's cups in my fridge right now. Cold Reese's cups, you guys, or put them in the freezer. Frozen Reese's cups, just, they hit differently. Something about frozen chocolate like that, so, so good. Do you follow any other YouTubers? I found Spanian and Rob Reacts to be pretty funny. I don't watch a lot of reaction channels. I watch random stuff. A lot of what I've been doing is either watching podcasts, like Diary of a CEO. I watch all the time. He does amazing podcasts with some really incredible guests. He actually just did one with a CIA agent, which is really good. I'm about halfway through that podcast, and I'll probably finish that up when I'm at work tomorrow, just kind of clearing through my inbox. But yeah, I don't really watch a lot of reaction channels, partly just because it's not that entertaining for me. I also don't want my stuff to be influenced by what other people are watching. Like, if people post a video in Discord and I react to it, and there's like 10 other people who've reacted to it, I don't want to see other people's reactions to a video that I'm going to react to, or I have reacted to, or I plan on reacting to. There's plenty of channels I follow. Like, there's a couple people who I followed them for years, and they'll do just like vlogs or random stuff. Leather Jacket, that's it. Yeah, Yellow Jacket's a type of possum in the States. Glad I've caught the live. Thanks for having me. What is a food that is done so much better in the US? So we just had a really long talk on American pizza. I feel like that's definitely one. Ice cream in the States. Oh my God. So I'm not talking the generic stuff. I'm not talking like Breyer's ice cream or even Ben and Jerry's ice cream. I grew up in Pennsylvania, where we have really, really big dairy farms. And let me tell you, Pennsylvania dairy, the ice cream that you can get in those areas, unbelievable. Like, I've had nothing like that here in Australia. Like, there are some places where you can go and get like local Lancaster fresh homemade ice cream, and it is next level. Also, Amish baked goods. Obviously, you can't get those here in Australia, but Amish baked goods are the best baked goods ever. Like, I can't say that for everybody. Like, I know there's like French pastries and then there's German breads and all that stuff, but Amish baked goods, it is like a hug and a plate. It's just so incredibly good. Reaction channels suck apart from kind of Australia. Oh, thanks. Peanut butter cups and cheddar goldfish are my weakness. Cheddar goldfish are good. Like, I kind of have to be in the mood for those. I'm always more of a sweet over salty person, but when I'm in the mood, those hit the spot so well. Being from LA, I watched the Stringers? Yeah, Stringers. I saw a video of an American guy doing Texas style barbecue on a large scale and sells out of Western Australia. Yummy. I gotta go to Western Australia, you guys. I swear, just for the food alone. So I asked in a Facebook page for Americans in Australia, like, has anybody seen diner food? Like, just greasy spoon, all American diners. I miss diner pies. I miss the omelets. The hash browns are so good. Pancakes. And somebody had sent me, they sent a couple links. I'm like, okay, that's not bad. It kind of looks sort of like what I'm in the mood for. And then somebody sent me something, I think it was Mama Mahoney's, it was called. It looks like just classic American diner food. They make their own homemade pies and cupcakes and all. I'm like, this is like American food that I miss. Like, I miss greasy spoon diner food. So yeah, I feel like I need to go to Western Australia for a week, like just so we can go and try the food. True story. I'm banned from America. Long story, but was traveling from Canada through the Nighthawk crossing, and the border guards thought I was smuggling things. They cut up my car. Nothing there. Eesh, that's a little scary. What's the idea with the top of an element? Never heard of it. I didn't hear of it until I moved here, but for some reason it's a top heating element, and I don't know why. It ruins my food all the time. Talk us through the perfect cheesesteak. So, Amoroso roll, you have flank steak that's sliced really, really thin. You have onions, if you're somebody who likes onions. I'm not really much of an onion person. And then you have provolone cheese. So, just lightly toasted on top of a like flat iron griddle. As soon as it's warmed up, take it off, throw the steak on there. You chop it up a little bit with like a spatula, a metal spatula, but you don't want it to be so fine that it's basically mince. Once that's relatively cooked through, you'll throw your cheese on there so it melts on top of it. And while that's cooking, if you want onions, fry up some onions on the side right next to it on the griddle. Sorry, there's like, must be like a cat hair or something in my eye. But that is the perfect Philly cheesesteak. What is better in Australia? There's a lot that's better. Like, I'm for some reason, like, I'm thinking food wise, and again my mind goes to meat pies. Oh god, I miss meat pies. I miss them so much those 2 years that I was away. I feel like for some reason Arnott's biscuits too. Like, America has such a wide variety of foods, but when I came here and saw the variety of Arnott's biscuits that are available, it was amazing. Like, don't get me wrong, you want a chocolate chip cookie in America, you'll have like 20 different kinds of chocolate chip cookies. But Arnott's biscuits, it's like every single one is unique and individual and different, and you don't have that with the types of cookies that you get over in the States. Like, you have chocolate chip cookies, but then it's chocolate chip with white chocolate chips or chocolate chips with giant chocolate chunks in them. Like, it's all some variation of it, whereas Arnott's are unique. Reuben sandwiches. Oh, yeah. There was a place, I think, in either South Australia or Victoria that one of the Americans had told me about on a Facebook page. And they do like old school New York Jewish deli food, and it looks so good. Like pastrami sandwiches, Reuben sandwiches, matzo ball soup, latkes. Oh, it looks so good. The best thing about USA road trip is diner food. Yeah, the smell of coffee and pie when you walk through the door. Yeah, even though the coffee is absolutely terrible and it's always burnt and it's probably one of the worst cups of coffee you'll ever have, it's still an experience. It's still really good. What is more common in the US, gas or electric ovens? Um, it's kind of 50-50, really. I grew up with a gas oven, bought a house that had an electric oven, moved into a house in Manioc that had, I think it was gas too. Yeah, it was gas oven. So yeah, I'm used to gas ovens, but electric is also still relatively common in the States. I know plenty of people in the States who had electric ovens. Have you been to Melbourne? How did you find it? Perhaps an AFL game road trip. So I was only in Melbourne for like 2 days when I was there. It's 2019, the summer that Mark and I met and started dating. And I'd already had a holiday planned, and I spent only 2 days in Melbourne because I was only here for 3 weeks, really limited holiday time. So I'm like, you know what? Just initially, I was like, okay, let me just hit a bunch of the major cities, do some of the touristy stuff, and after 3 weeks, I can say, okay, at least I did enough basic stuff in Australia and can say that I've been in those cities. There's so much to like every major place in Australia that like, even just 3 weeks in one city isn't enough to see the city. I liked Melbourne. The architecture there is amazing. But I feel like everything I did there was super, super touristy. So, like, it's not quite a fair comparison. I feel like the stuff I did in Hobart was still a little bit touristy, but it was a lot more slowed down. Whereas in Melbourne, it was constantly like tourist stuff, tourist stuff, tourist stuff. So it didn't really feel authentic. It felt kind of artificial, but that might have also been just the way that I'd set that trip up. Have a bunch of gas. Gas or electric? I prefer gas 1,000 times over. I can't stand dealing with electric ovens. It's what we have right now. I will take gas any day of the week over an electric oven. Some of Arnott's best biscuits have been discontinued over the years. I miss honey jumbles. Were those recently discontinued? Because maybe I'm imagining it, but I feel like Mark had sent me a packet of those in a care package, like when we first started dating and were dealing with long distance. Because we used to send each other food and just care packages and little like knickknacks and things like that. And I think honey jumbles was one of the biscuits that he'd sent me before. I've missed so much from this excellent conversation. Sorry, Doc. Glad to have you here. I'm guessing the New York City style deli would be at Kilda East Jewish Community. It could be. Don't know. I'd have to actually check and see, but wouldn't be surprised. I feel like it was in Victoria. Like, I feel like that's where it was, that Jewish deli that they mentioned, but I'd have to go through and double check because they mentioned stuff from all over the country. Like, somebody mentioned something in Brisbane, somebody mentioned something in South Australia, somebody mentioned something near Sydney. And like when I looked it up, I'm like, it's not quite hitting the mark that I wanted to. Did you do the Queen Victoria Market in Melbourne? No, I did not. There was a Pennsylvania guy who gave his girlfriend on their first date a huge cheese wheel. What? Did I miss something in part of that conversation? Question, next holiday destination. So we're spending a long weekend in Melbourne because we're going to the Formula One race. I'm very excited. So making a video for you guys on that because you guys have been saying I need to get out of Sydney, and it's absolutely true. So we're doing something that both of us are going to enjoy. We both really love F1, Oscar Piastri fans. I guess kind of Ricardo fans. His attitude's a little annoying some days. But yeah, so we're going to Melbourne, and that is all we have planned for now because we're focusing on like cash deposit and like bunkering down and saving as much as we can. And we do want to do a trip to go see my family probably towards the end of next year, like maybe a Thanksgiving or Christmas trip. But of course, we're going around the time of the year. That means everything's going to be extra expensive and extra pricey. So yeah, that means saving up a lot just for the trip, let alone also a house deposit. Yeah, I'd also mentioned before, I'd love to like hit a bunch of the major cities around Australia and do like a meetup and stuff like that with you guys. I think that would be a really fun time. Also give me a chance to actually explore a little bit more, maybe get some actual local recommendations from you guys. Oh, Neil, thank you. That's so sweet. Oh, you guys, that's so sweet. But yeah, I'd love to actually go and like do meetups and get some like maybe before the actual meetup, get some ideas so I could actually spend 2 or 3 days there with Mark and like do a meetup picnic style or at a pub or something, whatever. I haven't actually thought like location wise where it would be, but do that at some of the major cities. I'd love to go to Perth. I'd love to go to Darwin. It's like terrified as I am of Crocs. I love to do Darwin. Mark wants me to go up to Harvey Bay because he lived up there for a little while, so I think that would be really cool to see. I think he still has some family up in that area too. Brisbane will be cool. So I know Maz from the Bam family, and they live up in the Sunshine Coast, and it looks gorgeous up there. And she talked about this like 1 kilo donut that looks amazing. So maybe up the Sunshine Coast. There's all these places I want to visit, but airfare is expensive and travel's expensive. So that's definitely a plan in the future. We just don't have any solid plans yet. Hi from Brisbane. It used to be that you can buy honey jumbles in Queensland and New South Wales, but not in Melbourne. Likewise, they had chocolate ribble biscuits in Melbourne, but not in Queensland. I wonder why they wouldn't sell all the biscuits everywhere. Like, it seems like a really odd marketing strategy. Melbourne is not as bad as some say. We'll see. I know Ash is moving there, so I'll see what her thoughts are on Melbourne. She loves Melbourne though, so it's kind of very different. Like for me, I like as far as major cities where I want to live, like it's Perth, Sydney, probably Brisbane, Hobart, Melbourne, Darwin, Canberra. Like that's kind of my order of it, but I also haven't been to some of those places, so I can't quite say for sure. I'm kind of going off of the stereotypes and the stuff that I've heard from different places. So it's just my general order of things. Like really for me, I just want to live near a beach where I can go swimming. Like I don't want to have to worry about crocs. I don't want there's going to be sharks pretty much everywhere, but I don't want to have to worry too much about sharks. I just want to live near a beach. That's my thing. Like I didn't move over here to live in some crappy little suburbs. Nah. USA Foods, look out. GP weekend, Caitlin is wheeling 2 trolleys down your shelves. I thought about that and then I looked at their hours and I'm like, it's not going to work. Because they don't open until like 10 in the morning. And our flight on Monday leaves at like 11:30 or 12 or something like that. So I'm like, it's not enough time to go there and then get back into the airport in time for us to actually get a flight. But if it was up to me, I'd definitely be bringing an extra suitcase and stopping in their click and collect freezer section because they have biscuits and stuff like that I miss and I can't get because it's only click and collect. But yeah, if it was up to me, we'd be stopping at USA Foods. But sadly, I think like they're open at 10 and they close at 5. And I think the races and like all the events and stuff end around 5. So I'm like, we're not going to actually get to USA Foods by the time everything's done. We're going down there for the race. We're going down there like make videos and stuff like that too for you guys. So yeah, sadly it's not going to work out. I kind of wish it would, but I don't think it will. Does your family plan to visit you on Mark in Australia? Nope. They made it abundantly clear that they will not be visiting. They made it abundantly clear when I said I was going to move. And you know what? It is what it is. At this point, I've accepted it. I've accepted the fact that they are never going to step foot on Australia. I'm kind of pushing them to do like maybe a halfway trip to Hawaii at some point. Because initially my parents were like, oh my God, the flights are so long. Like I can't imagine being on a flight for that long. And they've got a wedding that they're going to in Europe next month. I'm like, I'm sorry, if you can go to some friend's daughter's wedding in Ireland on an 8-hour flight, you could spend an 8-hour flight and go to Hawaii and we could spend like a week together at a halfway point. No, not an excuse anymore. The 15-hour flight to Australia, I can understand. But no, now that I know that you can deal with an 8-hour flight, we should meet halfway in Hawaii. No one wants to live in Canberra. Can't blame them. USA Foods is 10 minutes from my place. I'm jealous. I wish they would reopen one in Sydney. I don't know why they closed it. Hi from Victoria. Question, does Costco remind you of home? A little bit, but not really, because I didn't go to Costco when I was in the States. Like, you have to have a membership and just never went to Costco. It's always about bulk food, and when I was with, like, obviously when I was younger, living with my parents, wasn't really a necessity for us to go there, because my dad also worked in a grocery store, so we'd get, like, employee discounts and stuff, so it was more reasonable for us to get stuff from the store that he works at. Whereas when I was, like, on my own or with other people in the house that weren't my family, then like obviously I was either buying food for myself or it didn't make sense to buy food in bulk like you're supposed to at Costco. It just wasn't cost efficient for us. So no, I never really went to Costco until I moved to Australia, funny enough. But they do have a lot of American food that you can't get anywhere else. USA Foods is the best. They even have shopping trolleys like a mini supermarket. You guys, I'm going to need to find some way to get to USA Foods at some point. What's wrong with Melbourne? Lived there for 23 years. I don't know, just something about the vibe. It's the vibe. I want a whiskey now. Go grab a whiskey. What stores do you miss? Ooh. Like stores-wise, it's tough because a lot of the things that are over there you can get here. I guess one thing I really do miss are Barnes and Noble, like the really big bookstores, because like you go to a Dymocks here, it's nice, but it still feels like a shop. Whereas the Barnes and Nobles I went to before, it felt more like an experience. Like you can go into the cafe and buy a book and relax, and it's just more open. There was more natural light to it. Dymocks, at least the one in the CBD, still feels very closed in. Like you don't get a lot of natural light in there. And I'm just something about it just has a different feel to it. I feel like Dymocks has so much more knick-knacky kind of stuff, whereas Barnes and Noble didn't. I was also a really, really big bookworm and spent way too much money in Barnes and Noble. Why isn't Adelaide getting mentioned? Did I forget to mention Adelaide? Sorry. So Adelaide would probably be between Perth and Brisbane, to be honest. And the only reason I say that is because I could not deal with the humidity in Queensland. And even if it's not that bad in Brisbane, I also want to live somewhere where you can go to an actual beach, not some man-made beach in the middle of the city. Has anybody been to, oh God, what is it? That lake that just opened up in Penrith? Oh, Pondeye. Yeah, has anybody been there yet? Let me know. I'm kind of curious to see what people think of it. Question, would anything change your parents' opinion on coming to Australia? No. See, the funny thing is my dad would love to, but he's just not in good enough health to travel for that long now. And my mom, absolutely not. She's not a traveler. I'm from the UK, and one of my sisters said she'd never come to Australia. I've been here a long time, and if I want to see my family, I have to go there. Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat. Like, nobody's going to come over here to visit. I'd love it if they did. Our door's always open if they do, but no one's going to. Even though some people swore that they would and said that they would. I knew full well as soon as they said it, I'm like, nah. You might be saying it with the best of intentions, but I know you're not actually planning on it. From memory, can you hum the opening theme to your videos? You don't want to hear me hum because it's just very flat. Like, I cannot carry a tune in a basket this and do know, like, the little You'll Come Waltzing Matilda with Me bit, but believe me, you don't want to hear me hum that. I feel like Dymocks has the potential to be Borders. The funny thing is, I don't know what it is, but something about the red in Dymocks reminds me so much of Borders. Borders mean colors used to be like reds and oranges and browns and earthy tones when you walked in. Barnes & Noble's more like cool tones. You get the greens, you get the grays, a little bit of blues. So it's a different feeling, a different vibe when you walk in. But I was obsessed with Borders when I was in uni. So I didn't have a job my first year in uni, so I was getting like a little bit of pocket money, like $20 a week, and that was coming out of money that I'd taken out from my student loans. So that way I'd have like a little bit of extra spending money and stuff for the year too. And every time I got paid, I'd go to Barnes and Noble and buy like a $10 book and a $2 coffee. And that was like my weekly splurge. I was buying romance novels like crazy, which is not what you should be doing as an English major when you have other things you need to read and then never actually pick up and read. But I was obsessed with Borders. And then, of course, after my first semester, they closed. All the stores closed. It was so sad. It feels like you get abandoned as soon as you decide to come to Australia some days. It's a little bit tough. But I know it's not the case for everybody. Like Ash's family came and visited her not that long ago, I think sometime last year. I know people whose family will come and visit them too. I just had a coworker whose sister came and visited her in Australia for the first time in 10 years. So there are people who will make that trek, but it's a long time. It's expensive. And like obviously in the States, you don't get a ton of holiday and vacation time anyway. So not only are you paying our fortune for flights, you get 1 to 2 weeks off and you still have to deal with the jet lag and you really only have like a full week to really enjoy it. So it's a big commitment for people who want to come over here on holiday, especially from the States. Thank you for the congrats on 10K. Brisbane is lovely, but very humid at the moment and most summers. Yeah, it's me and humidity, we don't mix. Yes, I feel the same. I get Borders vibes when I walk in. Okay, so it's not just me. Hit that like button all. Thanks, James. Yeah, you'll sweat from doing nothing in Brisbane because of how humid it is. Yeah, no, that's not for me. I'm not a humidity person at all. Put me in like Perth heat where it's 45 degrees and dry. I'm fine. You put me in humidity, it could be like 30 degrees and I'm going to melt. It's awful. My family in Canada who came here from Canada said the same thing as well. Yeah. What's good in Sydney to see other than the bridge, Opera House, Taronga Zoo? I hope to get the train to Sydney one day, but I not know anyone in Sydney. I'd highly recommend the Blue Mountains if you can. Like, take a train ride out to the Blue Mountains somewhere, or they do tours and stuff like that too. If you get the chance, just go around the Blue Mountains because it's absolutely stunning, gorgeous, incredible. I'd love to get out there and like do a hike again or something sometime soon before the weather gets too cold. So I have a friend who used to go hiking all the time. She lives out in Parramatta. I should probably actually message her and see if she's planning on doing a hike or if she wants to do one sometime soon because I'd love to actually get back out there again. You'd think a trip to Australia with free accommodation would be a motivator. Oh, when you look at how much the flights are, just having a free place to stay isn't too much of a motivator. Obviously, it is a cost and it is cost saving, but when we were looking at flights to the States before, and obviously it depends on the time of year and stuff like that, it was like $2,400 for each of us. So I'd be looking at like $4,800 for flights if you have two people. Doing round trip from Sydney to like somewhere else in the States might be a little bit cheaper if you're flying out from like LA or Houston or San Francisco, where there's already like a major hub and you don't have to travel from like a major international hub to local airport. But yeah, it's really pricey. I don't mix with it, so I live indoors. I can't stand it. Love the winter though. Yeah. Are you into Aussie music yet? What exactly is Aussie music? Like, is it just Australian bands or something? Because I've listened to a few of them before, but like, I don't listen to the radio. I don't like a lot of songs on the radio. I feel like an old person saying that, but like, it's hit and miss. There's some bands that I love, some bands that I'm like, eh. Favorite Aussie bands? I don't know too many off the top of my head. So you guys are probably going to laugh at this one. There's this pop band called Shepherd who are actually they're doing some sort of residency or something over in the States now. But I like their song Geronimo went really big in like 2016. So they actually did a little US tour and they went to Philly in 2017 and went and saw them. It was a really, really small concert. I think there was like 80 people, really small venue in Philly, but it was so nice. It was like this intimate little thing. It was just a really, really well done concert, and they're absolutely lovely. Night, Neil. Any word on permanent residency? No. So they needed me to do another medical exam at the start of February. I did that within a few days. They got the results a couple days later, and there's been nothing. So it's been over a month, and they've still said nothing about my permanent residency, which sucks. What sort of bike does Mike ride? Kawasaki Ninja 1000. Okay, we need to start suggesting bands in Discord. Go for it. The only thing I will say when it comes to bands and music and stuff is YouTube is very, very sensitive to that. So I try to do reaction videos, but one, there's going to be a lot of stopping and starting. Be prepared for that because I think if you play more than like 20 seconds or something, YouTube gets really, really iffy and picky. And sometimes even if you break it up, if you don't talk too much in between, you'll still get a copyright claim filed against you for the music. So sometimes it doesn't work and I just post the song onto my Patreon, which is like as little as $2 a month. But sometimes I just have claims that are sitting out there for 30 days and then the song gets released. It's very annoying dealing with music content and YouTube and reactions. But if you guys ever have anything, I'll give it a whack. I'll give it a listen. Feel free to pop it over on Discord and I'll try to react to it. And if I can't post it, it'll end up on Patreon. A medical exam, are they worried you're going to grow another limb? Seriously. So for most people, you do one medical exam. I did a medical exam in October of 2020 for my prospective marriage visa. You think that would have been enough? I gave them so much evidence, all the documentation they need. I don't know why they're doing that. I don't know why they decided to be nitpicky and pick that as an excuse because they knew I came over on a prospective marriage visa and you can't appeal it. Like I had to pay, it was a ridiculous amount of money. So it was like a little over $400 out of pocket for the medical exam. And then on top of that, I was actually able to get an exam like cancellation booking at the last minute, but I wouldn't have been able to get the train. So it was like a $40 Uber all the way over to the Bupa station and train ride back. So it was probably like a $475 thing that I had to pay for out of pocket that isn't tax deductible. Yeah, I was fuming, you guys. I was so mad. The ninjas seem to be the favorite bike here. All riders I know ride ninjas. See, we know a lot of riders who ride different ones. Like two friends of ours have Ducatis. A couple friends of ours have Harleys. I know one of Mark's friends has a Kawasaki. Have you been on the road with Mark in the truck? Yes, I have. So when he used to drive trucks, there was one company he worked for where small little mom and pop place. And it kind of gave me like, okay, you need to listen to him. You need to behave. You need to be wearing all your like safety gear and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, got it. No worries, no problem. So there was a couple times where I did go out with him in that truck, and then we changed jobs. And obviously it was a little bit more formal, a little bit more structured, bigger company. So not an option. But I have gone out with him a few times. And luckily the places that we went to were like farther out. So like up towards Canberra or up towards Bathurst, down towards Wollongong, stuff like that. Thank you for the Q&A. Night work in 6 hours. Do more of these. Cheers. You know what? These are actually enjoyable, you guys. I had a really, really long day at work. And you know how you just have that feeling where you're like, I need to do something. I don't want to do something. And it's not because I don't want to do the thing. It's just because I'm so tired. I don't want to do anything. That was tonight. Yeah, I'm really, really glad that we did the live stream. Glad we did the Q&A. This was good. I feel like we should do these a little bit more often. It took 2 years for me to get here, then another 2 years for my citizenship. Long story. Yeah, so it took 2 years for me to get here. Citizenship now requires you to live here for a minimum of 4 years, and one of those years you have to be a permanent resident. So if I don't get permanent residency by December of this year, it's going to then delay when I can apply for citizenship. So we're hoping, like, we can wait a few more months. We're fine. We're patient. We'll deal with it. But if I don't get permanent residency by the start of December, it's going to cause problems later on down the track. So fingers crossed. Obviously, I will keep you guys updated and give you guys my entire visa journey start to finish once I actually get permanent residency and can give you guys all that information. But for now, we're just waiting. Oh, Pen, I'm sorry to hear that. Your dad passed away? Oh, sweetie. That's rough. I'm so sorry. If we weren't watching with that Bundy be finished. I'm a slow drinker, you guys. Like, I don't chug. Like, this would last me an entire night if... Okay, he's behaving. So, yeah, this would last me, like, an entire night. I don't drink a lot, and I'm a slow drinker when I do drink. So, like, Mark and I will go to the pub, and we'll have, like, maybe 2 drinks. And even if we're Ubering back, I never really get drunk like I used to. I don't really go and have like 4 or 5 drinks in one night. That's just not me. I don't like feeling hungover. I don't want to deal with that. So I'm good with this. Yeah, everybody send hugs to Pen because that's really, really rough. Jack T, you need a straw. I don't know if you're talking to me or somebody else, but a straw. Oh, jeez. Yeah, so I think we're going to wrap up this Q&A, you guys. I do have work in the morning. Yeah. Luckily, normally we go into work on Wednesdays, and this time we lucked out where I'm actually going in on Thursday. So tomorrow is a work from home day for me, which is always relaxing. And then Thursday I go in. And I was trying to do a vlog of like me going into the office and stuff like that. But the way my office is set up, it's not really conducive for me vlogging. Because we do have a lot of personal information and stuff like that that's sometimes being shared over the phone. And I know the not-for-profit that I work for very, very much values privacy. So it's not like I could really film anything inside. And then it would literally just be me walking to my office and then walking out of my office at the end of the day, maybe grabbing lunch if I decide to grab lunch. But again, not filming anybody I'm getting lunch with. So it would be a very, very dull and boring vlog. Yeah, so not really great for vlog material. And same thing working from home too. Like it would literally just be me at my laptop typing away and making sure that you guys can't see my screen because again, everything is very personal and sensitive information. So yeah, again, that would make for a very, very dull vlog. So that's one of the reasons I also don't talk too much about work, because a lot of what I do is emails and paperwork. So not the most exciting, interesting stuff to talk about. So yeah, unless you want to hear about overseas doctors who want to train temporarily in Australia, that's what I do. I got to get up for a 4:20 a.m. for work. Oof, that is rough. 4:20. Thanks for sharing your time. It's been enjoyable. Thank you. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for the 10,000 subscribers. I still can't wrap my head around that number. I don't even think I've met 10,000 people in my life, let alone have 10,000 subscribers. This is insane. So yeah, I will catch you guys later. I might do another live Q&A or something like that sometime soon. I'll let you know. If you guys have any video recommendations, reaction recommendations, feel free to pop them over on Discord. Always happy to take suggestions. Some I can do, some like traveling around Australia, I can't do budget-wise, but yeah, I always appreciate it, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Have a great night wherever you are. And I will see you all in my next video. Cheers.